All right, you guys. So we are going to continue working on our linear regression. So I'm going to record two problems, okay? And that is what you're going to be working on today in Delta Math. All right, it says a mathematics teacher wanted to see the correlation between test scores and homework. The homework grade X and test grade Y are given in the accompanying table. Write the linear regression equation that represents this set of data, rounding all coefficients to the nearest tenth. Okay, and as we talked about in class, okay, that part is really important, to the nearest tenth. Okay, using this equation, find the projected test grade to the nearest integer for a student with a homework grade of 43. Okay, so that is going to be step 2, what I just highlighted there. Okay, all right, so I'm going to go over here, okay, and I'm going to add to my table. Okay, and most of you guys were doing okay with this in class. Okay, make sure you double check your values as you're typing them in, because if you do make a mistake, it's going to affect your grade or affect your calculations. 79, 72, 45. Okay, all right, and then if you hit the magnifying glass, you can see your dots. All right, and then most of you, again, you were really good with this step, Y1, okay, tilde MX1. I'm not sure why I've got capital letters going on here, okay, but let's see here about getting my caps lock off. Let me type that in again. Y1 tilde MX1 plus B. There we go. That fixed it. Okay. All right. So now, once I have this information here, I'm going to round to the nearest tenth. Okay. So now I'm going to go over here. Let me just slide this over really quick. And I'm going to write the equation. So y equals, and I'm going to take this m value right here. Okay, and it says round to the nearest tenth, so that's one decimal place. Well, 0.991279. Okay, that means one decimal place, so it should cut here. Well, that 9 rounds it up, so 1.0. Okay, x, and then minus, okay, 3.38953. Okay, that means our decimal should cut there. That 8 tells me to raise that up to a 4. So 3.4. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be writing down, okay, over here, okay, in my regression equation. So I'm going to type in y equals 1.0 x minus 3.4. All right, so now let me take this, okay, I'm going to put it right here. Okay, all right, so now it tells me, okay, so I've done this step. Okay, now it tells me to use this equation. So using this equation right here, okay, it says find the projected test grade to the nearest integer for a student with a homework grade of 43. Okay, all right, so we have to know what x and y represent. All right, so it's telling me that x is my homework grade. I'm getting this right here from this value right here. And it's telling me that y is my test grade. Okay, so now what they've done is they have told me that the student that I'm looking for has a homework grade of a 43. So I have a homework grade of 43. So I'm going to take that and plug in 43. So let's bring all this information down. Y equals 1.0, put parentheses, minus 3.4. Okay, and so now I'm going to bring my calculator back up. Okay, I've got a new line going right here. So 1.0 times 43 minus 3.4, because I type in everything, okay, everything that's here, I typed in over here, okay, and I got 39.6, okay. All right, and with 39.6, it tells me to round to the nearest integer. Okay, that's just another way of saying round to the nearest whole number. So 39.6, okay, so 39.6 cuts here, so 6 tells me to round that up to 40. Okay, so I'm going to take this over here, and I'm going to say 40. Submit my answer, and I got my green check. Okay. All right, so let's try this again. Okay, so I'm going to clear out my information here. Okay, and I'm going to do a new problem. Okay. All right, it says the number of newly reported crime cases in a county in New York State is shown in the accompanying table, where X represents the number of years since 2008 and Y represents number of new cases. Write the linear regression equation that represents this set of data, rounding all coefficients to the nearest tenth. Okay, so I'm going to take this information here plus table. All right, so 0, 1, 2, and 3. And then 769, 116, 816, 868. All right, and then I'm going to type in my regression equation here that helps calculate this information. Okay, all right, so now I'm going to take this information, and it's already rounded to the nearest tenth, so I'm just going to write here to Delta Math, y equals 29.7x, and then plus 772.7. Okay. All right. So now if I write that down, so 29.7x plus 772.7. Okay. All right. So let's bring this guy up here. Okay. So there's my equation. Now, if I'm looking here, let me make this a little bit smaller. All right. So this says years since 2008. So that means my X is years, okay, and my Y is new cases. Okay, so I'm going to go back up here. It says using this equation, find the projected number of new cases for 2018. Okay, so I got to do a little extra work. I got to take 2018 and I got to subtract 2008. Okay, so that is 10. So I'm going to take 10 and I've got to remember where I plug it in, and I'm going to plug it into years. Okay, so I'm going to put 10 right here. So y equals 29.7 plus 772.7. Okay, so let's bring that here. Okay, so I'm going to type in 29.7 times 10. Oops, I didn't do that right. Plus 772.7. Okay, and I'm going to round to the nearest whole number or the nearest integer. Okay, well, that's 7 tells me to round 69 up to 70. So 1070. Okay, so what I've done is that in the year 2018, I am projecting that there's going to be 1070 new cases, okay, based on the data in 2008, 2009, 2010, and 2011. Okay. All right. Submit my answer. Yes. Okay. So now what I've done is I have fixed the assignment to where all of the problems work out this way. Okay. Where you're going to be taking the data right here. Okay. And on a consistent basis, you are going to be plugging in for X. And then on Monday, we will look at plugging in for Y. Okay, so that's what you're going to be doing tomorrow. Good luck, and let me know if you have any questions.